times, oftentimes as a patient for orthopedic surgery, but I wasn't awake for those. For the watching, I saw a few open heart surgeries, a couple. And it was fascinating to me to see the charge nurse be almost the boss of the room. When the surgeon, the heart surgeon, you would assume is the boss. He's the guy who gets all the glory and everyone points to him. But when the chest was open and when the patient, the blood pressure wouldn't come back on after they got off bypass, like there was a significant shift in the nurse took over. And it was really interesting to an outside observer that there was that strong, clear, hey, this is what I do and this is my moment. And there also wasn't the surgeon wasn't butthurt by that happening. I'm curious about, is that standard to all emergency teams, or is that this is how a good team runs?
Yeah, not surprising. The good teams. Yeah. What you said was like really resonated with me. If you have a leader in there that ruins the team dynamic, it will waste your time.
Yes.
And with Dr. Alvarez and I, now mind you, we work together in these situations relatively frequently. When I see him in a room and I see things kind of fluttering out of control, I will turn to him and be like, I'm going to need you to take the reins here, boss. And there's this communication that happens kind of quietly. And I'm like, I need you to reel this back in. And he has the little things that he does, or he'll say, okay, we need to do a summary, or we need to highlight what the action items are for the team. I'm a great worker bee and I will get my job done. I like to swim in my lane, but when people start getting really frantic, I think what you said, making sure that team dynamic holds together, and Dr. Alvarez is excellent at it. He really is.
Thank you.
Very cool.
I think it's that.
Are you blushing?
Yeah. Well, no blushing, but I think it's very interesting because oftentimes there's not a lot of words that's being said. It could be a simple, Sarah turns around because there's a lot of noise in the background, and then she'll just look at me and says, Dr. Alvarez. That's it. There's no question. It's just like my name. And that usually for me signals like, I just need to make a decision for us to move forward, because then I've already noticed if I'm the attending for that room, I have a resident that's being the team captain. Usually I have an idea of whether they're also either nervous or they're getting over, I'm trying to find a word, like they're just cognitively overloaded and they're trying to slow themselves down. One of the common things that happen is, especially when you're newer in the resuscitation, you want to also flex up to show everybody that you are in control. And often that manifests into you're thinking out loud. And from nursing perspective, what I've learned is that they're very task oriented. If you tell them to do something, they will do it, but they have to have priorities. And so one of the things, for instance, is when my resident thinks out loud, Sara will just look at me and say, Dr. Alvarez. And that signals to me, like, you need to just take over, because we can't be listening to 10 different orders all at once. It's like throwing everybody off, and we don't know the direction of our resuscitation right now. But I have to do it also like in a way that will still not devalue my resident, because they are learning that team leadership skills. And so either I stand closer to them so that they know that like I'm right there. And then I start whispering, like asking them questions. Or if it's really out of control, I'll just start saying something. Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we just step back? What have we done so far? And then that's when we kind of regroup again.